Yo, welcome back to Uncut. You're here with Diego, Wamke, and Piwo. So yeah, today we have an awesome topic that we're going to be talking about. We want to be talking about logic versus emotion, right? Emotions, because there's a lot of emotions.
Logic.
Yeah, so we want to talk about emotional and logical thoughts or decisions, that are being made sometimes, especially in relationships. Last week in our last episode we were talking about how we want to be, speaking specifically about this topic, right? And since last week was about relationships, we were talking about relationships. Yeah, relationships. A few weeks back, and so
friendships,
vibes for some people. So yeah, we want to be talking about about all of that. So yeah, guys, what do you all think? Let's start with relationships. Let's throw that out there.
Take us away.
Take it away, my friend.
I don't
Catch up your tongue.
Yeah. I struggle with separating. Last year I was trying to date this girl, and logically in my mind it didn't make sense, right?
Why?
Because not that it didn't make sense, but logically I was supposed to back off.
Sure.
But I didn't, because emotionally I wanted things to happen, but at the end they didn't. And so I feel if I went with the logic,
Yeah.
You would have been fine.
I would be better. But I don't want to,
Yeah.
because
Because
I feel like
yeah.
when it comes to dating, you should involve emotions.
Yeah.
That's how you get to feel if people are sincere.
That's the thing with relationships, dating. There has to be a sense of emotions involved.
Yeah.
But let's, as my good friend Uamke once said, he said,
A very
right,
wise man.
high key. He said, look, when you're going into a relationship, right, enter with your head first and hope that your heart follows. That hit me like hardcore, because a lot of the times we sometimes go with our hearts on our what you call
Our sleeve.
on our sleeves, right? And we think, yo, this
There's a shoulder.
showdown. Yeah. Anyway, it's just
Okay. Yeah.
That's fine.
we gonna got that out, no?
Oh,
But yeah, we sometimes play with our hearts. We think, oh no, we can always have it every single place we go, and we forget that, hey, this is a cold world.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah.
It is cold. It is dark, and it is dreary. It is everything.
and it's
down,
lonely.
and it's lonely.
Even though you're with your friends, still
It's lonely. You know what I'm saying? So, really, I hope I didn't play myself by the
Yeah.
topic that with
The quote.
whatever Diego's quoting me on. I hope I didn't play myself with that. But what I meant there was, a lot of the time, if it makes sense logically, then it should definitely also make sense. Okay, not definitely, but it should make sense emotionally.
Yeah.
There's higher chance of it making sense logically and emotionally than it making sense emotionally first and then logically.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of mean.
Yeah.
You see, because sometimes you like someone, logic is telling you
This ain't for you, bruh.
this ain't it, my friend. But you follow your heart, as they say. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's good because it could work out.
Yeah.
You follow your heart and things vibe grand and go be fresh, go be much. But then at the same time, if your head is like, yeah, then your heart should also say,
There's a connection.
yeah.
There's a link.
There should be a link.
Yeah.
But the link, I feel like the link is better if it starts here and then goes here, then
Yeah.
here, then there.
Because we sometimes imagine things that are not there.
That are not there.
You
because of how
imagine,
feel.
you imagine signs are being thrown out
Yeah.
to you.
You
Meanwhile,
think
there's
about-
no
Yeah.
signs.
Nothing.
Meanwhile, look, there's
Because
a
you
post.
sparked them.
Yeah, there's a post I put up once, and I said, just because I'm showing kindness to a specific
Doesn't
girl
mean you're
does not mean I want to go out with you or I'm flirting with you. I'm
Sure.
just simply
a nice gent.
a nice guy. You know, I just like being nice to people. And so that's the same thing, you know. People use their emotions to assume things, right?
Sure.
And then they forget that logic trumps almost everything.
Yeah.
You know, it trumps everything. Let's look at social media. Social media and relationships, two toxic things together. You know, like, well, I'm not saying that relationships are toxic. I'm saying social media can become toxic to a relationship when it comes to, you know, the things which people post because of emotions on social media talking about relationships. You get what I'm saying, man?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
You get what I mean?
Okay, well, I mean,
And we screenshot gay with people.
You're-
we screenshots.
we
this thing.
screenshots it.
Yeah, well, as soon as you love the women you're becoming, see a screenshot. As soon as you choose you,
we know that.
as soon
what's
as you
happening.
self-love,
Self-love.
As
It's
soon
there.
as you-
Yo, that one gets me.
The self-love?
Self-love. No, screenshot. We're waiting for you.
as soon as you self-love, as soon as you what are the other
Choose me,
classics?
Tuesday.
Choose you.
Choose
you
you,
know,
Tuesday.
why?
Wow,
Why
that's
all of a
important.
sudden now? Why? Why are you choosing yourself now?
Disappointment.
And then, you know,
guys, you flirt also. You flirt.
I don't
and
flirt.
to mislead people.
no. That's you see. That's what I was saying. I was saying because I'm a kind person. Don't
People
confuse my kindness with flirtation.
Sure.
I'm straight up being kind. My mama raised a kind person. I'm not being prideful about that, but it's a fact, right? You know,
It's a fact.
when someone says hi to you, you say hi back. You know,
Sure.
it's common courtesy
How-
type of thing.
I don't know
That's
how
my
to, I don't
weakness,
know how to
man.
flirt.
You know how to flirt.
No, teach me.
Teach us.
You.
Me.
You see, that's the thing. Like,
That's my weakness. If a girl is being kind to me,
You think
she's-
that
I think she's like into me, and that's
you're
that's
catching
my-
things that
that's-
are not
that-
thrown, bro.
that's my fault, and I start creating these scenarios
man.
that are not even there, and
But also, that's being good. You're being good. You know.
How are you being
assume good out of people. You see good out of people.
No, but you're playing
So it's
yourself.
good.
but
But no, but
It's
you're
good
playing
if-
yourself.
It's good if you think they like you. If you think they want
You're
you.
straight up playing yourself. That's a wrong move, Luke.
yeah, there's a difference between someone wanting you and someone being kind.
Sure.
Yeah, you can say, okay, this person is a good
Can
person.
you spot the difference?
Yeah.
But you just
No. I'm saying you can spot the difference, but
We're talking about you here.
oh me.
specifically you, bro.
We're saying you. Can you spot the difference?
Can you spot
Because
the
you're the one telling us.
When
there's a
you're-
difference.
It's a bit
If
of
You're the
you
one
can't
telling us.
differentiate
You
things.
know, there's a difference.
If
But then at the same time, you can't spot it.
if the girl is beautiful and she's being kind to me, then
Then you think she wants you.
it's just if she's attracted. If I'm attracted to her, then
Aye, boo.
she shouldn't be kind to me. Don't even say hi to me. Then
Man, look. You see, that's the thing. We sometimes, okay, not sometimes, we always need to have a logical mind.
yeah.
In relationships,
All the
please, we
time.
need to understand this, that in as much as relationships involves this thing that's here, our hearts, we need to have our minds specifically trying to spot out, maybe she's not meaning this, because there's a lot of people that think there's always a deeper meaning to whatever someone's trying to say. And please, if there is people who are always trying to do that, please just cut it out, like for reals. That's you losing
that-
people.
That's frustrating.
You lose.
I'm
And
not.
that's the reality.
You have you quite about
I'm
this?
not talking. I'm not saying anything. About
Come on,
what you
tell me
guys are
why.
saying about
Why
this.
is that? Why is that?
Some
He's not trying to play himself.
I'm not gonna play myself.
No, I get what I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, because you see what the thing is. This may come across as if it's an attack.
Yeah.
People are gonna, some people like getting touched these days.
Emotions.
Basically,
Emotions.
People like getting touched sometimes when there's no need to get touched. There's no need to get touched about what we're talking about right now, because this is actually what we're talking about.
It's fact. Like
Yeah, well,
we're not gonna shy away from talking about something that is real.
yeah.
But what about the fact that almost all of you have been in that situation where you've been emotionally involved when you should have used
cope.
Yeah.
That's exactly why we can talk about it now.
We live and we learn.
and also on social media, for the fact that people post about these things and it's all about emotions than logic, which means that's the reality that most of the time, as much as we know that we should first go with the mind
Yeah.
and then the heart will follow, but still we do it otherwise.
I don't know. You bring up a really good point.
That's solid point.
A lot of the times I feel like it's also subconscious. You know, we subconsciously do things that we don't know are doing, right? I'm not sure if I'm making sense. We sometimes write out a status and we're thinking that, hey, this is not emotional. Meanwhile, all of the emotions are being put into that one status or that one comment, and then we post it, and a little later on we find out that, hey, this is actually really... And look, don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with being emotional on social media, in life in general, in relationships. There's absolutely
You need
nothing
to.
wrong. You need to, right? But it's when now you need to
They
start
overcome
discerning.
you now.
Yeah.
They overpower you.
When it starts to become too much, right? That's when you start losing. You start doing things which you would have never thought you would do, but you just do it. You go overboard with certain things. You start doing crazy, radical things, all in the sense of, I'm emotional. I'm emotionally unstable. Yeah? I don't know. where
There
that
has
comes
to
from.
be a balance,
Yes.
a healthy balance, because we need both of those things to
Yeah.
survive in relationships, which is something that many of us need.
Bear in
training
mind,
in.
personally, I'm not an expert when it comes to relationships and whatnot. This is just what I think.
Yeah, we're
Right
we're
now.
not
This is-
experts.
we're not
He's the
experts,
only
please.
expert. Yeah.
Please,
There should be a
We're not-
disclaimer. There's a
Yeah,
disclaimer.
there's a-
We are disclaiming
we're
something.
giving you a disclaimer right
Right now,
Yeah,
okay?
we're not like experts or anything like that
You
when
get
it
what I
comes
mean?
to this kind of business, but it's just what we think, pretty much.
And if you got a problem with that,
And yeah, if why tune your ma? Yeah, well, but seriously though, I feel like no, I don't feel like. I think really, if you really review a lot of decisions you make logically, there'll be way more. There'll be less regrets than compared to the emotional decisions we make.
Mm.
Yeah, well, some emotional decisions we make are good.
Mm.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll say religiously.
Mm.
We need emotions there
yeah,
in a way, because some things you can't fully explain logically.
yeah,
Some things you can't fully explain logically when it comes to religion.
What about
There's
relationship?
a spiritual factor there. There's an emotional factor there.
mm.
Yeah, we don't.
yeah.
Can you fully explain things about love matter? Can you fully explain things there?
Logically.
Logically or emotionally?
Yeah, let's
There's a few
Yeah.
things you can. Yeah.
I think
no,
you can.
there's few things, but most of the things, because once you're in a relationship, so you are more emotionally attached than using
Okay, so
logic.
let's ask this question: when do you use logic in a relationship, and when do you use emotions in the relationship? Let's throw that out. What do you guys think?
I think the leading one should be logic, though,
Why?
because it's not about feelings at the end of the day.
It
About-
is. It is about feelings.
It's not about
It's
feelings.
not about feelings.
I feel that emotions are more powerful than logic. That's how I feel. There are people who are who have trained themselves or who have been hurt enough that they've learned to use their logic more than their emotions. But most of the time we act on logic.
Mm.
Or on emotions. I'm sorry. And I'm thinking in cases of even in your relationships back at home, your
Yeah.
mother
Yeah.
is more prone to believe you or to accept some of the things you are doing because of how she feels about you.
Yeah.
Even though she can tell that, okay, my son is not doing things that are not. Most of the time we do things emotionally.
I think it's when I think in relationship it's when decision making comes in. Not about when decision making comes in, it shouldn't always be emotional, because we sometimes make wrong decisions, but it should be logical. Because, in a relationship, we sometimes think, relationships are just lovey-dovey. Kissing, holding hands, just always spending time with each other. Relationships sometimes, or all the times, include, okay, if we are going out on a date, there has to be money. Right? And logically, where is this money going to come from? Right? Logically speaking, we can't just always be acting out of impulse. All right? Let's.
You can't lie to yourself. Sorry. True, dude. Sorry. You can't lie to yourself and tell yourself that it's not about money. Okay, it's not about money, but you can't lie to yourself and say it's not important.
I say we don't need
It's
money.
We
It's
don't
not
need
crucial.
it.
Yeah.
We don't need it. Hell, you need money in dating.
Money good.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, we need money. There's one of my. I read it on WhatsApp WhatsApp status.
Yeah.
The question was, is money necessary in dating? Something denganjan along those lines, and then the people answered. Some were saying no, others were saying yeah. I personally say yes.
What's this on
denganjan.
WhatsApp?
Yeah. And the quotes that came out, the person I'm gonna quote said, there's no romance without finance. And that's true. Hell,
Yeah.
siyafuna ukuhamba siyobuka amabhubesi. Yabo, kube mnandi. Sibuka ama-sunsets, yonke leyo nto. But you need money
capital.
for that stuff.
You need finance.
And that ends up affecting things emotionally. Yabo leyo nto. Ukuthi awukwazi manje ukubonana ngenxa yokuthi imali ayikho.
Yeah. It's a domino
Kanti
effect.
khona abakwaziyo ukuthi bembone.
Hey,
They are there. Those the predators.
Bakhona
They're
khona.
there.
Bakhona khona.
Look, this is what
And
I
then
say.
to that person it may translate as, no, they're not putting in that much effort. They're
Yeah.
not putting in that much effort. And then that affects them. That's logic thinking.
Yeah.
They're not putting that much effort into this. And then that transcends into the emotions.
Emotional. It's a what you call this? I call it the domino effect. You tip off one domino, and it will just all go, and right at the end, it will just hit off the what you call this, the emotional domino, and it will just fall down. And then that's how relationships sometimes break. With that, we look at decisions such as, I don't know, if you want to meet your parents, right? There's as women, sometimes they overthink things. And even men, even us men, we sometimes overthink a lot of things, right? But then that's where we sometimes also have to use logic. Hey, I should not overthink. I've never met these people before. Why the heck am
Why
I
do I
trying?
think?
Yeah, why am I thinking in the first place, right? Why am I overdoing these things? And with that, you can sometimes make wrong decisions preparing to, let's say, meet the parents of whoever you're dating, and then you make a mistake, right? And then that has led into your relationship going into rocky waters, right? And so I feel like I definitely think that it's, when it comes to relationships, it's the decision making part that needs logic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Decision and choices.
decision and choices.
Because I think also it's not really all about the feelings.
Yeah.
It's also about the choices and decision. Because you might love people if they're not good for you, then you need to make a choice to leave or to stay. So
A logical choice.
okay, let's narrow it down, because I feel relationships are just, it's a broad, there are parts where you use logic, there are parts where you use emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a big I don't
Yeah.
know, field. Let's just narrow it down to what specific things are we talking about when it comes to relationships.
We
Give
spoke
us an
about
example.
I think mostly the decision, when you're making decisions based
When-
on your emotions, not on logic.
Yeah.
What kind of a decision?
I stay with this guy, but while you know that they are not, there's no future with the guy, but you stay because you love him.
yeah.
Okay.
That's a really
a huge one.
that's a huge one, which is really relevant in today's era. We stay in a toxic relationship because we love. Logically speaking, get out of that relationship now. but we are staying into this toxic relationship.
Oh, but
that
I
is-
love you.
Yeah.
he
But
takes
he
care
loves
of
me.
me.
He loves me.
You know?
I love you.
No, it's all about.
Screw love, man. It's not all. At the end of the day, it's not all about love.
What about when we're talking about logic,
Yeah.
where you're saying emotionally, I like this person. You know, my heart is
longs
softened.
for this person.
Yeah, when I'm around this person, but this person doesn't have a degree, they don't have a career, they don't have these things, and I have these things, and I'm working and I'm trying to build this kind of a future. So logically, it doesn't make sense for me to go with this guy.
But it still involves the decision.
Yeah.
At the end, you have to make a decision
Yeah, so
based on what you calculate, because you also have to have reason why
You
you,
have
have
to
to
have
stay
reason.
in that relationship.
Look,
So if those reasons,
so my question is, should, when it comes to starting or getting into a relationship, should emotions take triumph, or should logic be the deciding factor of getting into a relationship with someone?
Combo.
it has to be a combination. Yeah, a combination of
It has to be
both.
a combo.
Like you can't base all of your decisions into getting a relationship or on logic. Okay, this person is tall, 5'2".
It's not that tall, 5'2".
What's the average, right? What's the average? 5'8"?
I don't know, but like 5'2" is very short.
Very short.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll say 6'1", okay? So, okay, this person is tall. We're not going to put in inches. This person is tall. This person has a good job, has a degree, lives in a big fancy house. You're just basing all of these things on logic that you will live, right? That you're going to live a life. But what about the emotional side? Is this person prepared to actually be committed to you as a lady or a guy, even? Is this person ready to actually, support you emotionally? You get. So once you have a balance of both, that's when you can actually start considering. Now, look, when we are going and we are asking girls out, or when girls are, being asked out by guys, we don't have all of this list with us. Pull out a list and like, so are you financially stable? Check. No, you don't have that.
Sure.
But you always have to be constantly looking. Your eyes are not. You're not blind, right? And it's not just your eyes as well. Your eyes give you the logical part, and your heart, in some ways that you feel, gives you emotional. What do you think? You just there smiling.
I just got something. I just thought of something that actually kind of supports his point. It kind of trumps my point a little bit. And yeah, I'm not at that stage yet of getting married or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, sometimes that has to take a lot of emotion on the emotional side when you decide, okay, yeah, I want to marry this person now. Because when you weigh it out with logic and emotion, I think emotion makes up a big portion of making that decision.
Yeah.
Or would see, okay, this is the person that I'm gonna marry. Eboliont.
Yeah.
More than the logical side.
yeah, hey, but I think that
Because ungababeka bonke la bafana
Yeah.
babe nalezinto lezoyithandayo. But
But not
You
all
don't
of them.
feel
but
that
logically,
They have.
okay, they the same age, same whatever, somewhere, but you're not gonna smoke all of them.
Yeah.
chemistry.
And
That's
the
now
vibe.
the vibe.
The
As
vibe.
you-
But
So now that's the
vibe.
emotional side. Now that's now leading much.
yeah.
and that's how I
Just killed myself.
mostly
But
act.
You played yourself. Look,
Yeah.
it's not that we. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but it's not that we are just straight up speaking on logic and we're saying logic is what
Yeah.
trumps every single thing. No, there are certain decisions and you happy, right?
No, I'm just
Look,
Laughing.
we are saying that logic is a crucial thing.
Sure.
It is a must that it needs to be there. All of the problem, this is where I feel the problem comes in. When we're only using emotion,
Yes.
When we are only just making emotional decisions,
That's
we
what
are just
I'm
going to be
talking
playing ourselves. You can't. If a girl is cheating on me, and I know she's cheating on me, right? I know this, and because I'm infatuated, I love this girl. I'm using only my emotion, and I'm like, dude, no, this girl, she's high key cheating on me. Like next thing you know, it's not like you want to go through her phone. Like she picks up a call in front of you and say, "Hey, babe," and you are the babe sitting here. Like you need to leave that relationship. That's where the logic needs to come in. But then when what one guy was saying, like the emotional part, the emotions come in when you're making huge decisions like marriage. Marriage is a huge decision, right? And the emotional part needs to be there. Yes, the logic needs to be there, right? Am I doing this for the right reasons? Right? Am I getting married for the right reasons? Logically. But then emotionally, is this person, do I actually love this person that I'm getting married to? Yeah. But you were saying something, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're making a good point. And for me, I always act on emotion. And not that I'm like proud or glamorizing it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's one of my weaknesses.
Yeah, that's how you end up getting clowned.
And
End up being a
it's
clown.
That emoji
You
is
start
there.
doing
I just saw it. I just saw.
That's
I just
right
saw
there.
it in the emoji on you right now with the nose.
you start doing things that you
You wouldn't
never
do.
thought you would do.
And when you look back on it right now, how do you feel?
You feel like a clown.
I feel like I should have,
Is
because
there-
my logic took a backseat and I was just emotional about things. And I was just, if maybe I would have balanced, or as Wamke said, go with your head first and hope your heart follows. If I went with my head first and then I would have gotten those signs that logically are saying back off, then I would have not involved the heart.
H-Sam, this one must have really hurt you
Yeah.
proper. Yeah.
But now, if there would be another chance, would you apply logic, or do you still do you feel that still you can be a victim, or do you feel like
I feel like now I'm
The way you
more,
phrase that.
Yeah.
yeah, victim. I feel like now I'm more, when you touch a hot stove as a kid and it burns you, right?
You have
You
that
don't,
scar.
yeah, you okay, this thing burns, right? You don't want to touch it again. I feel like my heart kind of went back and said, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. And I just started acting on logic right now, which is something that I don't want to, which is not a state that I don't want to continue in.
Yeah.
I want to act on emotions
Yeah.
and I want to act on logic. I don't want to,
Just be a robot.
just to be logical, and because I feel when I am being logical, I become cunning. I know myself, because that's how I acted on sales. I was like, I know these products, they're not worth what I'm selling them for, and I know that this lady that I'm selling this to cannot really afford this, but I'm just gonna,
Screw it.
I'm at work.
You're here to
work,
sell.
Yeah, I'm at work. I'm gonna
It's what
sell
you need,
this,
yeah.
and if she buys it, she buys it. I'm hoping that she buys it, and then that's when I felt like I don't want to continue like this.
Yeah.
I want to be a person with a heart,
And then you went in too much on it.
and then I
You gotta.
went.
Yeah, it's a balance, as we've been saying. Like that's what makes us human beings. When we actually understand that that's why I was asking you, how do you feel now? That regret. Regret is an amazing lesson. It's an
It's
amazing.
also a painful one.
Yeah. It's a painful lesson, but it's a lesson which you now know how to actually get out of. You know what I'm saying?
But it's not always the fact that next time it happens, we'll be able
Yeah.
to run away.
Yeah.
It might
Yeah.
hit us again.
We
but
still
we'll
get
be
down the day.
Mm.
Especially with the point that he's mentioning that maybe you once been an alpha and now you're settling for being a beta. So you are just, this was your choice.
Mm.
Because you know that maybe if you are an alpha,
You're just hardcore.
You're just,
Killing
Hardcore.
it.
That's how I wonder, like many guys, because many guys are able to do that,
Yeah.
where they just, for them, they get into relationships to get what they want, and then they move on to the next person. I just wonder, like, how do you do that? And I personally feel for them, it's more logical and more about
Cunning.
logic and pleasurable and cunning, more than emotions. And that's the kind of person I try to avoid to become.
So right now, who do you feel you are? What type of person do you think you are? I feel like this is like an interview for the brother.
Yeah, this is becoming, it's already personal for me.
Don't cry, man.
Right now, I don't know. I'm at, I don't know how I feel about, I don't know how I'm going to approach my next relationship.
Ladies out there, look, okay. Look, the brother